as a young woman in her early 20s, I can invest more in stocks than bonds. Bonds. Hello guys, welcome back to Sandra's Shelf. Today's topic is my top 3 personal finance books for beginners. So before getting into the top 3 personal finance books I recommend for beginners, I need to preface with my own personal finance journey. It is my belief that people slowly come into the realization that they need to manage their finances. This realization that we're all personally responsible for our finances doesn't necessarily come at a certain age. Actually, sometimes it comes later rather than earlier. And in other instances, you see other people that are really good with money at a very young age. I believe that one of the key factors is definitely financial literacy. Being aware of your finances will help you lead a much more fulfilling and intentional life. By being aware of your finances, you can minimize or avoid uncomfortable feelings such as stress, pain, anxiety, and even feelings of hopelessness. Talking about money is not easy, but facing money problems is even harder. Personal finance is not only about saving money or budgeting or making money. It's actually a much more broader topic than I initially envisioned. It's actually about being in control and understanding what happens to your money and allowing you to prepare for any unforeseen money problems. Financial literacy also allows you to understand your emotions in regards of money. So emotional responses as individual and collectives as we spend, earn, save, and invest money. I woke up one day last year and I realized that I knew absolutely nothing about money. And that thought to me was utterly terrifying. So I didn't know the ways we can make money, we can save money, we can invest money. I just knew the basic, which was to go to a job, make money, save money, and don't spend anything. Which, by the way, there's nothing wrong with that, but it's not a way of living that I wanted to have either. Slowly, I started learning about passive income streams and tax-free savings account. But then again, my knowledge of the two were very limited. Actually, a lot about money did not make any sense to me at that point. I thought that I had to follow the money blueprint that others had entrusted onto me. So this blueprint looked like to me going and getting an education, getting a secure job, put in hours, get paid, pay my bills, pay my debts, and save all of the rest of my income until I retire. Don't get me wrong, this is a foolproof method, but it is not the only way to make and go about money. Since we are talking about personal finance today, I also need to mention that there is no one true way for anyone. The point of a personal finance journey is that you make your own journey, you pave your own path with the knowledge you acquire, with the financial literacy that you've read. Yet, I am also a firm believer that we should stay open-minded and learn different ways on how to save, make, and invest money. For me personally, I realized that the more I learn about money, the better I feel. The more secure I feel and the more knowledgeable I feel, the less anxiety I have surrounding money and my life in general. So without further ado, I will go through the 3 top personal finance books that have helped me when I first started my personal finance journey. So these books are perfect for beginners. So I'm just presenting the main takeaways that I've personally found in these books. And so in that way, some ideas you might have already encountered, while other ideas that I haven't mentioned, you might encounter through your own read-through. So the first book that I absolutely love and that has taught me a lot is I Will Teach You to Be Rich by Rami Sethi. So as you can see, I've annotated a lot. I Will Teach You to Be Rich is a very insightful book because it surveys an array of monetary problems that can arise during a lifetime. This book is formatted in a 6-week effective program, and therefore it will help you and guide you as you learn how to deal and manage your finances in different aspects. So in that way, you can take your own pace and deal with something new every week. I'm just gonna look down on my blog post to tell you the 6-week breakdown. Week 1, learn to set up your credit cards and pay off debts. Week 2, learn to set up the right bank accounts. Week 3, learn to open an investment account. Week 4, learn to manage your money. Week 5, learn to automate your accounts. Week 6, learn to invest, which is not only picking the right stocks. So for me, the main takeaways that I have not considered before reading this book is to optimize my credit cards. I did not think so far ahead to optimize my credit cards for rewards or travel points. It sounds silly when I say this because there's actually a lot of TV commercials about bank accounts selling their rewards program to the viewers. But yet, the thought had not crossed my mind when I joined my bank account a few years ago. I was so caught up in my university degrees, I did not even take a second to think that all the money I'm spending, I could be earning rewards for that. But that's the point of financial literacy. You learn, you grow, and then you adapt. As an adult, I can definitely see the value of scraping every rewards that I can get. And that's kind of the concept that Ramit Sethi encourages in his book. Any little thing that can offer reward without costing you any more, you should take advantage of. And you should do the research. And it's up to you to do the research. Another topic I really appreciate that Ramit Sethi brought up is the value of building credit score at a young age. Personally, for me, I knew about credit score because my dad and my sister always stressed to me about building my credit score even at a young age. However, I did notice that not all of my friends knew about the importance of building credit score even before finishing school. The moment you have a credit card, that's already the moment your credit score starts to accumulate. Therefore, it's crucial to never miss a billing statement. And I really do think that a lot of people should hear this before they even open their first credit card. Because your credit score is one of the many components that will allow you to make big purchases later on in life. Another thing I really enjoyed about Ramit Sethi's book is that he gives scripts. He gives scripts that you can say on the phone to your credit card company in order to waive certain fees. You want to make sure you're not being charged unwanted fees on your credit card, but also on other utility bills. Unwanted fees don't seem much at first, but they actually add up, and no one should be taking your money for no reason. Because sometimes when companies see they can get away with it, they will. And the general assumption is that you know and you consent and you're aware of it. So that's why you always have to keep an eye out, and you have to be able to communicate with these companies in order to waive fees. Ramit Sethi also offers other scripts such as negotiating for a higher salary or negotiating for buying a new car. I really like Ramit Sethi's mentality in which he acknowledges that your money is your hard-earned money and it shouldn't always be spent frivolously. It shouldn't be going to fees or unreasonable prices. If you put in just a little bit of research, you can do so much more with your money. It's not about being stingy. If anything, it's about being practical and being responsible. Another important topic he discusses is the investment portfolio, as you will see in week 6 if you decide to pick up the book. Ramit Sethi breaks it down easily and concisely for new investors. He explains that investing is not only for the rich, but it's for everyday people as well, such as you and me. And therefore, in that way, investing is actually for the long haul, not for the get-rich-quick scheme. He briefly explains asset allocations by age, and he also explains how you should diversify your portfolio. He offers these little graphs here in this book to explain it all to you. So if you see here, he does the research and he offers you the asset allocations based by your age. The gist is the more you diversify your portfolio, the less it will become volatile. And to understand how to diversify a portfolio, Ramit Sethi goes through the different assets with you. So he goes through the different classes such as stocks and bonds, the stock funds, stock bonds, and he also briefly explains the risk versus reward ratio for every asset class. So for me, as a young woman in her early 20s, I can invest more in stocks than bonds because I have time working at my side. All of this to say that I Will Teach You to Be Rich is a really great starting point in your personal finance journey. So the second personal finance book I want to recommend is Unshakable by Tony Robbins. And I actually recommend reading this one right after reading I Will Teach You How to Be Rich, but you can read whatever you want. But this book is perfect when you take the plunge and you want to start investing. Here in Canada, we generally open a TFSA, so a tax-free savings account, but we also have our RSPs, which is a retirement savings plan. In the United States, it's a Roth IRA. Why is it so hard to say Roth IRA? I honestly sound like a pirate every time I try to say that name. But yeah, also for the United States is the Work 401k plan, which Tony Robbins has a whole chapter on this. But I still think if you're Canadian or from wherever else, you can find great value in this book. So Tony Robbins has collected knowledge from 50 of the greatest financial minds out there today through interviewing them. Therefore, it's safe to say that he knows what he's talking about. He's done his research and he has created his own financial freedom plan. He's interviewed big-time investors such as Warren Buffett, Ray Dalio, David Swensen, and Jack Bogle. Tony Robbins is not messing around here. Basically, in Unshakable, Tony Robbins tries to explain how indexing is perfect for the common investors such as me and you. He looks at the different trends in both the bull and the bear markets, and he also examines our responses to them, as well as presenting graphs and table analysis of the market throughout the last century. So I just want to present some of the freedom facts that Tony Robbins share in this book. Because these freedom facts have been researched, they help me pursue investing my money with a greater conscience. Once again, I'll look at my blog post just to share you the 7 freedom facts that Tony Robbins share in his book. Freedom fact number 1. On average, corrections have occurred about once a year since 1900s. Freedom fact number 2. Less than 20% of all corrections turn into a bear market. So when it goes down, don't get worried. Freedom fact number 3. Nobody can predict consistently whether the market will rise or fall. Freedom fact number 4. The stock market rises over time despite many short-time setbacks. And this is true if you read anything from like The Intelligent Investor, or if you look at graphs and tables, it is still steadily inclining. Freedom fact number 5. Historically, bear markets have happened every 3 to 5 years. So this means do not get discouraged, because a bear market will happen again and again and again and again, and you just have to hang in there. Freedom fact number 6. Bear markets become bull markets, and pessimism becomes optimism. So like I said, this is a good thing. This is a balance always being reestablished. And freedom fact number 7, which is probably one of the most important freedom fact ever, is that the greatest danger is being out of the market. Now, obviously, I'm not gonna sit through and explain all these freedom facts to you because that will be a lot, and I'm not that well versed either. I need to always go back and reread these sections. But he goes into great details and he explains everything he's saying. He's not just saying blanket statements and not covering them. And that's why I highly recommend this book. I just want to briefly talk about freedom fact number 7 because it's one that has really resonated with me, because a lot of the time when you talk about stocks or you talk about the market, a lot of people have a great aversion towards it, which is fair, and I understand, because me too, growing up, anytime I ever heard about stocks or investing, I always heard either the big horror stories or the big success stories. So it led me to think that someone like me should not, could not, and will not invest, when really the worst thing to do is to not invest your money. And I wish I would have started at an earlier age. I know a lot of people that are much older than me have wished the same thing, because stocks and investment is good for the long haul. Tony Robbins also explains the psychology to this idea. It's because we primarily operate to the principle of loss aversion. We rather not lose money than having the potential of gaining much more money. The way I understand it is that if there's an opportunity to gain $100, but there's also the risk of losing $10, we don't want to take that risk of gaining 100, which kind of makes sense because the more money, there's more at stake. Like I said, if you read the first 2 books that I've offered, I Will Teach You to Be Rich and Unshakable, then you will learn how to manage your risk in your portfolio, as well as manage your emotions and emotional responses to how you invest, make, save, and lose your money. So the third and final personal finance book for this video is Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert T. Kiyosaki, which is such an amazing book, so highly acclaimed. And if you haven't read this, I don't know what you're doing. I know by the end of your life you will have read this, because everyone has read this, everyone and their dad have read this. So please go read this because it's actually quite valuable. It stands the test of time. I think it's been 20 years, 25 years, something like that, and it's still such a great book. It's such a great nugget of knowledge. Rich Dad, Poor Dad sets up this dichotomy of the rich and the poor dad, obviously, but it's not what it seems initially. So Kiyosaki opposes his dad, which is the poor dad, but he's also an educated upper middle class worksman, to the rich dad, which is his friend's dad, who's initially poor, but also a business owner and an entrepreneur. So Rich Dad actually comes from a lower education background, but he owns his own company. Essentially, I think the difference that Kiyosaki is coming to is the financial literacy between the rich and the poor dad. Because when you keep on learning about money throughout your life, you become richer because you know more things that you can do with your money. Although having a higher education has value and is valuable, I've done it, education doesn't stop there. That's basically what it is. Kiyosaki is not trying to be rude or distasteful to his own father by making this rich dad, poor dad dichotomy. He's just trying to bring his point across. And obviously, you need a title that sells for your book. So essentially, Rich Dad has other people working for him while Poor Dad is working for the government. I think the most illuminating part of this book is the way the middle class see money. It is the way in which the middle class gets stuck with debts and taxes because of the conventional way we were taught and brought up. Essentially, it's because the middle class holds much more liability, such as owning a car, a house, and so many other expenses, versus actually holding assets. And Robert Kiyosaki really goes into this. He explains how the middle class is taxed, while business owners, before even paying taxes, they can actually earn and spend money, while workers or middle class workers pay taxes before they can earn money. In summary, this book is basically just trying to say that by being financially literate and by gaining more financial knowledge about money, then we can be financially free. Therefore, true wealth is not about having a lot of money, but it's basically having great control on your money. Because when you have control on your money, then you don't feel confined. You can retire early and you can spend more time enjoying your life. So this concludes my top 3 personal finance books I recommend for beginners. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found something useful for you. I hope you will pick up these books. If not, I hope you let me know what other books you're reading on personal finance, because I would be interested to know. I will definitely make another video on this topic in the future because I've been reading other books. And if you're not a video type person, I also have a blog post on this topic, so you can read that down below. I have all of the books linked as well. And now I just want to encourage you to share your personal finance journey down below, because we're all in this together. We all have different financial journeys, and you never know when your journey or the steps you've taken in your journey might inspire or help someone else. So please share down below and let's have the conversation going. But for now, goodbye, and I'll see you on the next shelf.